Hi everybody, welcome to the overview of the NTA platform and hardware. Just going to give you a little bit of a rundown on what's happening within the NTA family at the moment. This is following on from our conference that we done not so long ago on the 4th of October. And we had a few resellers that unfortunately missed it, and they've asked for a little bit of an update on where we are and what's going on. So we're just going to do a little bit of a presentation on that right now. So first of all, our beloved D40 handset that most of our resellers know and love, unfortunately is being retired. That's due to a lack of parts being available for the Chinese manufacturer to actually be able to produce the hardware. It's not to worry though, because the good news is we've actually got a D44 coming out with a few extra features on it, better screen quality, a really nice designed handset. It's going to be an excellent replacement for the D40, and I'm sure it's going to fit in with everybody's range of handsets that we're currently selling and what they're selling to their customers. Also, the HB1 Bluetooth headset, that's not being retired, that's actually being updated. We had a trial arrangement with the manufacturer of these of a couple of hundred to try to see what they're like. They've actually been a really good seller. So we now increased our purchase of those, and by increasing the purchase, it's allowed us to be able to create the Bluetooth name when you connect to now say HB1, so it makes it easier and more understandable for connecting the product itself. And there's a slightly faster chipset in that, which makes the call quality a fraction better too. It all seems to be, looking pretty good for the headset too. So good news for both products, D44 and a more enhanced HB1. Well, the good news is, as well as us producing the new D44, we've actually got an F60 coming online, which is a touchscreen handset, quite a nice design handset. It's got built-in Bluetooth. If you want Wi-Fi, you just use the dongle still, which is fine. Cost of that is £139, which is a pretty exceptional value for the type of handset it is. The D44 handset, however, have gone up slightly. It's now £109, but that's fine. It's still within the range of handsets that we've got, so that's good news. So what else have we got going on at the moment? Well, we've got some good news with the Mobex. We actually have a product called the Mobex Touch, which is currently in prototype form at the moment. We did show it at the conference. It's basically again a touchscreen handset that's actually tablet based, so you can take the tablet off of the base, put the handset back on the base, and you've got a complete working handset using Bluetooth technology, Wi-Fi, and obviously touchscreen with it. It's an Android device, works really nice. Now, we're not sure what this device is actually going to cost yet, because we've actually got the ability to work with our resellers and ask what's important when it comes to a product. And what we want to do is build this product with you guys in mind, and also talk about what type of build quality you want. And when I mean build quality, I'm talking about things like we've got the option to change the front and back cameras to either be a low resolution 2 meg cameras, which is going to be cheaper than perhaps putting in a 5 meg camera. So these are things that we can talk about, but we're hoping that this handset's going to sit within the range of £199 to £299 trade for you guys to be able to sell out to your end users. And what's nice is I think it's going to give you competing edge against that product that keeps on popping up called the Hi product. That's obviously out there, very expensive. This one's going to be very cost effective, and I think a really great alternative to against the Hi product. Now, the great thing about this product is we're actually going to preload it with the Mobex software on it, which means that when your customers receive it, they'll be able to open up that screen, put in their email address, receive the activation code, and start using the device straight away. And it'll be, as I say, pre-populated with Mobex, and it should operate as a really nice, easy to use handset for voice, video, chatting, and all the other features that we're looking to bring online with regards to Mobex product itself. I don't want to go into too much about the Mobex product because Marcelo is going to do a little presentation shortly about the Mobex product. And with that, I'd like to hand over to Marcelo now. Thanks very much.
Okay, talking about Mobex Web, there's a lot of stuff happening. We are delivering a new modern interface that we are planning to do, and we plan to have an identity that works on the apps and work on the web at the same time, so improving your user experience. We have 3 dedicated developers plus 2 persons working on the backend, and our backend is improved a lot, so we increase the performance, and we add statistics, and we add lots of stuff that help us to find and solve issues if you find that we expect that you won't find. So the new web interface comes with these new buttons that they come with the avatars. We have the dial pad that you can hide. We have this idea of make the system much more responsiveness. So when you have a big screen, probably when you hide the dial pad, you have more buttons. Otherwise, you can just try the buttons. It's all about the resolution. We have the new top bar. The new top bar comes with a notifications button. That is something that we are going to also deliver on the mobile app later. We have the new settings on the top left corner. There you can just upload your avatar, change your status. You can enable, disable notifications, do not disturb. You can select the dark mode. There is a new options when you can select and send debug data to us in case we need. It's up to you to do that in case we need. You can disable the video calls. You can, of course, select your audio, select your camera settings. And we are thinking also about the accessibility. And on the accessibility, we just developed a couple of options for color blindness, where you can just have the best options for your user in case they suffer from this condition. Thinking about the chat, something else that you should be delivering soon, we have this new chat that comes with kind of a Gmail chat version. That's a simple chat when you can just talk straight away, clicking on the button, you select and start talking with that person. If you click on the chat, you can go to the full version of the chat. The full version of the chat allows you to have a bigger view of what's happening. You can see on the left there is the presences, so all your contacts are there. You can see if they're available or not. In the right panel, you'll be able to see details about your contact. So you'll be able to look on his numbers. You will start to an audio call or a video call. So that's the kind of stuff that we are planning to do. The chat will start as a one-to-one from the beginning, but definitely soon we'll start to see lots of new features like images and audio recording, and then we're going to start to develop the new group chat that will be available later after the initial release. One of the most interesting things that we are doing is our video conference system. So this new video conference option on the Mobex, we are putting lots of efforts. And in the near future, you see that we are moving all the video calls to this new module. In the beginning, you still have the one-to-one coming from the buttons, but in the future, everything will become some kind of video conference, because we want that you'll be able to invite people during any kind of calls. We have this initial screen, and you'll be able to soon schedule a meeting or start a new conference. The idea is that you can have the same kind of stuff that you have in the old video conference solution, when you can just schedule a new meeting and then you just say, okay, it's private, it's public or not. If it's private, you can just invite some emails, and that person will receive invites on their email that goes to the Google Calendar, the Microsoft Calendar. They can just access the conference during the time that the conference is being running, and then just enter with their PIN and everything's fine. Of course, you'll be able also to share the link of the conference. And probably we are not sure if you're going to come with a PIN or if you're going to come with a way to approve that person to enter the room. But that's what we are talking about. The new interface for the video conference is coming with the most usual options that you can have. You can just raise a hand. You can just have a chat with different participants on that meeting. That chat, like Google Meet chat or other chats, they're not something that we keep store. It's a temporary chat, so it's just for that conference. We are looking on WhatsApp way of chatting because it's really nice, come with colors, and you can just pick the same message and put it all together, so it's really, really easy to read about that. We have another option to invite more people, so you can see everybody that's connected, and you can just invite. You can, of course, share your screen, you can mute. And interesting that we are trying to do is that if you want to share your screen, we are thinking about giving the ability for more than one person share the screen at the same time, and you can just pick up which one you want to look instead of having to ask that person, okay, stop, then I'm going to share my own screen. So just trying to make things easier and better. There are some other stuff that are planned, but for the future, we are going to disclosure more information, like transcription of that chats, something new that appears after the conference, to be really honest. Well, about Mobex Mobile. We are writing Mobex Mobile from scratch because basically there's a huge problem with the development of Android apps. Every time that you have a new version of Google, that Google releases a new version of Android, we have issues with permissions because they change something, and then Samsung or other provider comes and change the interface and add new permissions. They are releasing a new version soon of the One UI 5.0 that will come with new permissions. So every time that they do that kind of stuff, it makes things harder for us. With iOS is much easier because Apple controls everything and do just one interface, so it's much simple to be done. But basically, what are you doing to avoid this is stop this problem is that we are rewriting this from scratch. We are writing a new application that will be available on day zero for both iOS and Android, so they are going to work together. It's a lot of work, but we are reaching the point that we will be able to release a beta version soon, and more about the beta program later. But basically, our initial version that we are calling Mobex version 2.0 will come with all the available features that we will have in version 1.0, but also we have the notification systems like Mobex Web. Probably a few weeks after the release of version 2.0 will come with version 2.1, and version 2.1 will come with white label support and tablet support. The idea for the tablet is that you can mimic the interface that you see on the web interface. So if you're using Mobex on the web or on the app on a tablet, it looks really similar or the same. So it's just to increase and make the user experience much better. After that, version 3.0, video, and 4.0 that comes with chat. But the whole plan is that for the future, Mobex Web and Mobex Mobile, when we release a new version or release a new feature for one version, we can just have release in both versions so they work hand in hand, and so everything is just much better for everybody. Our first beta should be released soon, especially the web version should be released really, really soon, by the beginning of November, I guess. That's what we're aiming. And for the app, as soon as we have something, we're going to let you know. But we are working a lot on that. But like I said, it's right from scratch. It's a lot of work.
Thanks, Marcelo. That was great. So I'm going to talk about the residential opportunities. First off, the big switch off. Back in 2015, BT announced that by the end of 2025, they would be turning off the ISDN network and the PSTN network. But this action would eliminate the use of all analog phone lines and force communications technology into the cloud. So it's estimated there are around 3 million PBXs still in the field that can't be converted from ISDN to SIP trunks. That's still a lot of opportunity for the business model. This is all well and good for business and customers with a broadband connection that have the option to purchase IP telephones. But what happens to those who wish to continue using their existing analog telephones, i.e. the residential market? There are an estimated 27 million homes in the UK. Now, I've spoken with a lot of people who say that there's not an opportunity for them, or people don't use residential phones, but there's still 27 million opportunities out there. Now, at NTA, we have a solution for residential and, in fact, small business customers. First off, connectivity. Those customers in 2025 are going to lose their analog line. Potentially, we say, because the time limits and time scales, we're not too sure really what's happening there, but it's still targeted for 2025. Most will require an internet broadband service and may want to change their provider. You can check us with our sales team to see what speeds are available at the customer's premises for SOGEO and FTTP. So you know what, we can do that for you and make that part of your life easier. Hosted IP handsets. The customer can receive all of the hosted benefits by converting to VoIP. Of course they can. However, they will need to purchase a new IP handset. Now, for flexibility, mobility, they could actually purchase the actual W100 Wi-Fi handset from us. Great products, very, very popular, and that would give them the mobility using VoIP and wireless. But what about those analog telephones? The customer may have an analog telephone or a cordless system, a bit like the actual Panasonic telephones that might have 5 off plugged into one master socket. So to keep those existing handsets, our LA1 adapter, an ATA, can be used, but more about that in a mo. In both instances, whether IP or analog, the customers will require a broadband circuit and their telephone number will need to be ported. They'll need to be set up on the NTA or your hosted portal. So choosing the right model. Well, there's a couple of existing models at the moment that you currently have. You have a service provider model, there are portal costs, there are channel costs, and the pricing is subject to your channel concurrency. So varying, the more you put on, obviously the cheaper it gets. That's the great way that model works. There's also the per seat model at $475 that includes 5,000 minutes. Are these models suitable? Probably not. So what about a new residential model? After all, it's about choice and continuing to be flexible with our offering. So NTA are looking at the creation of a new per seat residential model with a new portal login. This will be different to that of the residential user interface that resides on your existing portal now. This model would have slightly cut down features and be of a per seat model nature, as the focus would be on the telephone number and not the extension. It will also have a different pricing model, potentially mobile apps family being used and offered by other competitors. So we'd like to discuss with you what you would like to see included in this new residential model. Connectivity. Well, most contracts are 12 months. However, we're considering doing longer contracts, 3 and 5 years, for a reduced monthly fee. Something that we'd like to discuss with you later. A couple of questions we're going to be asking you. Would you be happy tying your customers into 3 and 5 years? Potentially, and why not? How much would you pay to episode year with us compared to other suppliers? So we're going to be throwing these questions out, guys, because obviously we want to work with you to make that a real viable option. The LA1 landline adapter. So NTA have manufactured an analog terminal adapter, an ATA. We have renamed it as the LA1 landline adapter, and it's been specifically designed for the UK market to make it easier for residential customers to make the switch to IP, but want or need to keep their existing analog phones. The landline adapter comes with a 5-volt power supply, an Ethernet cable, user guide, and it has colour-coded device ports on the product. Red for power with a micro USB socket as well, yellow for a LAN connection, and white for that BT phone socket for plugging in that plain old telephone. So there's no balun or converter required, saving you money. The LA1 has a ring equivalence of a REN 4, and that means that it can ring 4 additional phones in a domestic setup, although in some cases rewiring of the telephone socket may be required. The adapter utilises pre-configured dialing codes and feature prefixes to access an array of features that are available on the NTA platform, some of which are listen to voicemail, call forwarding, redial, call waiting, setting a do not disturb, blocking unknown callers, setting call barring, class of service, finding out what your number is. You can identify what services have been activated. Just simply dial the code *69 and listen. As always, we do our best to consider existing services and feature codes you may already have in place. And if you are using any of the feature codes, they will override the defaults, so no need to panic. I think on the new residential solution that we'll be offering, that won't be an issue anyway. A complete feature list is included in the Landline Adapter version 1 feature user guide. Now that's a mouthful. The LA1 is another efficient solution to help convert your customers from analog to IP now and in preparation for the 2025 switch off and beyond. Marcelo, over to you.
So yeah, there's a new software being developed that's called Ringo. So what's Ringo? Ringo is our new desktop solution. That's basically is a modular software when you'll be able to add new features, and your users will be able to enable and disable these features based on a license mode that we are still developing. The initial module will be the UC Plus. We need to replace the current UC Plus client, the third party that develops that's not developing that anymore. We are going to keep using the back-end solution. However, the client will be our total responsibility, and we are going to do that from scratch also, which is nice because we have lots of ideas for new C++ that we won't be able to implement in the current way, but now we'll be able to develop as we think that's the best way. So full responsibility, but much more flexibility, which is really, 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 really good. The initial release will be just a replacement of this current solution because we need to move on, but soon we'll be able to start to see more stuff that we are planning, especially with search and all the other stuff. There's really lots of stuff that can be done, and we are really excited with this one. It will be available on beta like MobX, and we're going to talk about beta program soon. Important to say that Ringo is not only about UC+. It's, like I said, it's a modular solution, so we are having much more plans for that. 2 modules that we are already considering being planned is the PCI DSS, so we just want to make the PCI DSS easier, probably automatically pausing and unpausing the calls to avoid recording some information like credit card data, or even removing the DTMF for the call record, but we don't know exactly yet. Especially this option of removing the DTMF it's really, really nice. It's really, really good. However, it's not easy. There are a few companies doing that, but the costs are prohibitive. It's too much money. So we are just looking at what we can do in a really good cost benefit for everybody, for you and for us. And we should be showing you some ideas soon. The second module that we are planning to do soon is the encrypted call recording. So with the new call recording solution that we are developing, the encryption is something that people is going to start to ask us. And because our new model will be, with the new model will be able to be FCA and MiFID II compliant, we need to be really, 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 really concerned about this encrypted because we're dealing with legal stuff. So we are just looking at how we're going to do that. There's a lot of stuff that you need to think about. So how we manage keys and all the other stuff, because should the keys stay with us or should the keys stay with the customer? Probably they should stay with the customer, but if the customer lost the key, how they listen to the call recordings, so it's really tricky. And if the key doesn't stay with us, you're not being able to listen to the call recording through the browser. But in the end, to be really honest, the best option would be to have the key with the customer because that's the most safe solution because only the customer will be able to listen to that. But like I said, if they lost this, could be a problem. So we think that this module will be able to help a lot with this because with this new Ringo module, we'll be able to manage the calls, we'll be able to download the calls, decrypt, listen, checking file integrity, check if the file wasn't tampered or not, which is really important. And we could also create some kind of backup of the key that the user that has access could have a copy in his machine that will be protected for a second password. So in case, for example, that someone lost the key, there will be a copy that if you have the password for that key, it's all stuff that we are thinking about, what's the best way to do that and what's the best option. It's not simple, but I think that Ringo will be the best place where you can manage this.
Thanks, Marcelo. Thanks for that very detailed explanation now. Okay, right, let's look at the next subject, which was call recording, or rather, should I say, call recording bundles. Now, we've already got call recording, as you all know, but we've now created call recording bundles. Now, these are going to work slightly different to what we have now. There's going to be a couple of different versions of call recording bundles that you can subscribe to. There's going to be a time-based call recording bundle, which will allow you to add extensions into a time group. So whether that be a 1 month, a 3 month, a year, or even a 7-year time group that will keep the call recordings for that period of time. This will be done on a per extension basis. So you're only able to add extensions into this type of group. And then we're going to do another type of call recording bundle, which is actually going to be storage based. Now, the sort of storage base we're talking about is you'll be able to record 1 gig or store 1 gig, 5 gig, maybe 10 gig, 50 gig, maybe even up to 1 terabyte. We can build these packages according to whatever you guys are looking for. So what you'll be able to do with the storage-based call recording package, you'll be able to select extensions, you'll be able to select numbers, hunt groups, whatever you can normally connect to within the standard call recording package. But because this is based on storage base, we allow you to record anything you like, and it's your choice how much or how little you want to record. The good thing about the packages is that you can create more than one package, so you can have more than one type. So if you've particularly got extensions that you'd like to record on a time base, say 3 months worth of call recording for, say, sales people that are making lots and lots of calls, you can add them to the time-based call recording, and then perhaps others you could add them to the storage-based call recording. Then we've got one further option on top of that. You can choose a FTP or an email call recording package on top of the time-based or on top of the storage-based. And the only difference between these, they're slightly cheaper on the storage of the monthly charge, but you do get charged a pence per minute for recording the call, and that goes on the call charge itself. So there's plenty of options for you to choose from, and hopefully you'll be able to create bundles for your customers to be able to give them exactly what they're looking for. There's lots of work being done in the background to make sure call recordings are of a very high quality. We're keeping the call recordings stored within the Amazon Web Services. I believe we're using Glacier storage capability, but that's all going to be within UK storage centres. So hopefully that will work with GDPR. We're also doing quite a bit of work in the background, which again Marcelo will probably go over shortly, about the call recording and security and PCI, sort of things that we've got in mind moving forward on these call recording packages. Again, all these are going to be subject to a charge, and you can pick and choose what type of call recording package you want. But we've also given you the ability that if you find that your call recording package isn't big enough, then you can upgrade it to a longer time if you've picked a time-based one, or you can upgrade it to, or even downgrade it to, a call recording storage-based product. So we're trying to give you plenty of flexibility for you and your customer, and that's our new call recording product, which I hope will be more suitable for your needs moving forward. Thank you.
Well, about call recording, I think that Paul already showed a lot, but I need to give a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. We know that's taking longer. It's not easy. There are lots of stuff happening that's stopping our development, like, for example, PI surcharge and all that stuff. But important that now we are back on track and we are really close for having something. Paul show and talk about the call recording bundles, but call recording is much more than that. We've saw from time to time some unexpected use of call recording. So because we are seeing the increase of number of call recordings, we need to make the system much more reliable, and we cannot lost any type of call recording. So we are just writing again from scratch the solution where we are gonna manage and monitor each step of the solution to ensure that your call recordings are not being lost. In case of any kind of problems, we're gonna keep a copy of the original files and then create the file for you, and then just investigate and try to fix for the future. Calls needed for legal purpose cannot fail, so we are not allowed to do that, and you need to fix that. So, like I said, we are right from scratch. And something else that we need to improve with this is the current SAS FTP solution, because when we start to do that, it was for a couple of customers. Now it's a really popular solution, and we just need to make it more reliable and make much more efficient, deliver the calls for you faster. So we have issues where people, some customers has issues with their own call recording as FTP servers, and this put some delays, and we need to avoid these delays. It requires lots of manual work, so we are now rewriting this to make it fully automated. Something happens, everything will be handled in the most efficient way possible. Just summarizing what we have for this new call recording solution, not just about call recording bundles, but everything else. So the files will be available for to download a few minutes after the call is finished. Currently it's taking up to 30 minutes, so just make much quicker. The download of the files will be processed in background, and you get an email with a link where you can just download that information from our portal. So we just don't need to wait, and from the beginning which kind of files will be available on that on that download, and everything will be really simple for you guys. We are, like I said, we are implementing several controls to ensure that all calls are fine, no errors. In case of one of your customers or your own servers, FTP servers fail, you got an email, an automated email, let you know that you have issues, and then we are going to stop to send files to you. And each 30 minutes, you're going to check if the files are automatically check if the servers are back, and if they're back, we're just going to start to send the files for you. So no problems. We are going to keep these files 48 hours for free. So if your server just was stopped for 2 days, you should have these files back for you as soon as possible. We are considering more time, but probably with costs, we don't know about that yet. So it's still something that we are discussing. Like I said, we are developing that, thinking about encryption. So it's prepared to handle these encrypted call recordings on Ringo. We are saving the checksum so we can in some way check if the file was tampered or not. What's really, really important is that it's taking longer, but this new solution will allow us to plug new features in a much, much quicker and easy way. So we'll be able to develop new stuff for the future much quicker. One of the things that we are already looking is the transcription. We probably have this done a few months or a few weeks after the initial version is available.
Hi everyone, and the very last thing I'd like to just share with you guys is our new portal for giving you the ability to order online and compare products that we have available for yourself. So we've created this new NTA Store that will be available hopefully the first quarter of next year. This store will give you the ability to see all available products. It will allow you to see, different types of products that are there, different angles of the products. You can see lots of pictures. These are all actually done in your logoed product as well. So when you're buying it, you can see exactly how they're going to appear when it arrives for your customers. There is the ability to see all of the different specs within the handset. You can also do a comparison within the website, so you can compare, say, a D44 to an F60, and that will give you the different types of features that you've got within the product itself. But one of the best things about the site is it's also going to give you the ability to train yourself or members of staff up on the portal. We've got a dedicated training academy within the portal itself where you can go in and, for instance, you can do a course, run a video on how to set up hunt groups, and it will give you a bit of an indication on how to do this yourself, setting a hunt group up. It gives you a snippet from our manual that's been created, how to set up the hunt group as well. And also it will ask you a couple of questions so that as you progress through the Academy of Training, you will then get yourself more and more qualified. You'll be able to give that a go. Hopefully that's going to be launched the first quarter of 2023, and we look forward to seeing you using this service online. Thanks very much.
Well, now we have our new beta program, so I just want to talk about that a little bit. So what's the beta program? The beta program is a way that you will give you early access to the features so you can test your own comms, and of course helping us reporting issues or giving us feedback so you can just make the solution much better. Until now it was really informal, so when people get some issues, especially with Mobex app, we just fix it and just ask for that person to, can you try, and all that stuff. Now we're trying to make something that's much, much better. What's the idea? How it works? You just apply for the beta program, you test, and you report to us back. And with that, you get some benefits. And for the benefits, what are the benefits? You have early access to this feature. So when you start to sell it, when you release to the public, you already know how it works and you can have a better understanding. So it's make it easy for you to sell the product. We are going to give you some training, and we're going to get marketing materials. So there's a lot of stuff, and it'll be really, really important for us that you can just help us, because sometimes it's just us doing the test by ourselves is not enough. So as much people can help us, it'll be really, really good. Some bugs are really hard to detect, so we hope that if lots of people with different ways of using the system start to to do the test, they will find stuff easier. And of course, like I said, you can just suggest new ideas, and we can just maybe when we release to the production, we can just have a better product with much more features that we are planning. So we will need your help with that, and as soon as it's ready, it should be coming soon, we are gonna send you an information about this. Thank you.
Once again, I'd like to thank Marcelo and also Cliff for their presentations within today's video that we've just created for you. And I would like to also thank you for your attention. Of course, if there's any questions that you'd like to ask, don't forget you can always send it through to support@nta.co.uk or sales@nta.co.uk. And don't forget, if you've got any feature requests that you'd like to the portal, or you think that should be on the portal, why not email them through to ideas@nta.co.uk. We welcome any suggestions that you've got, and of course welcome you on using the portal going forward. Thank you.